Skill buffs.
When you come on in this bitch, hit that like button, man. Show some love. When you come on in this bitch, hit that like button, man. Show some love. Making sure we see you. Yes, sir. Hit that like button. I know it's probably watching, but tune in time. We ain't been on this bitch in a while. We ain't been on this bitch in a while. Oh, yeah.
Support my guy.
Yeah, it was good, my guy. They go my guy. What's up with you, cuz? What's up with you? I'm hanging in there, my boy. Hanging in there. Hanging in there, my boy. It's let's go time. Championship round, man. Season 1. But when I say my name, I mean that shit.
Roll Tide Elephant. Dugout Penn State Class 14.
The fuck?
Penn State.
It's funny as hell. My YouTube on speed mode. Don't know how to change that. Well, fuck it. We in the building. Anyway, let's go. It's a lot to talk about because we can't just jump right into this number 2 Alabama versus number 1 Penn State matchup. Damn, both of these teams are traditional teams. Both of these teams are blue blood teams. Both of these teams,
Jayhawks.
help make college football throughout the history of college football. To really think about it, the prestige of Alabama and the prestige of Penn State. Joe Paterno. You can go right back to Bear Bryant. It's a lot you can go back to. They both have rich traditions, and both of them got coaches that got them in some situations this year. I think they took 2 different paths to get into this championship matchup, but I think we're in for fireworks right now because Max, let's talk for a second before we get into the season and things that happened and what went down and some expectations. We saw some teams that I thought did a really good job throughout the entire year this year. As far as on field play, like games, getting them into user games, things they did, man. I saw some good work in every Power 4 school conference had some guys that did some really good things over there. We're in the Big 12, and I was very, very much impressed with the Kansas Jayhawks and Coach Rob throughout the season. Like you start off with 2 juggernauts on your schedule, and if you dive deep into that, it wasn't really bad games played, just better teams he played. And then he ran through the Big 12 to get himself to the Big 12 title game. And Arizona did the exact same thing. So like I like some things that I saw in that Big 12. The Big Ten was interesting, man. We had some up and down things that went in the Big Ten, but the consistency was Penn State. You always can root for a team that can win a close game, win those games that damn you shouldn't have won that game but pulled it out and won it. And then not only that, you find out about your team as the season goes along, and you go on the road and win a big game, win a big game or two, you at home, and you realize how good your crowd really is, and they help you throughout your home games, and you go dominate out there to get yourself to right where you are right now. I think Alabama took a different path though. Every time I turned around, I seen 70 whether it was computer or users. Like they kind of been explosive. When you start the dish, you talk about the teams like Ohio State being the best team on the game, Georgia, and I think people fell asleep on Alabama because Nick Saban retired. Nobody paid attention to what they had on that roster, and one of their, you know, I think one of the biggest players that turned up for this team is the 17-year-old freshman at wide receiver. Alabama's always at their best when they got first-round receivers on that football team. And, I think they're back at that right now. And then Jalen Milroe, man, being the best dual threat quarterback on the game, can put you in some situations. So uh, I think this is going to be an interesting matchup. Very interesting matchup, man. Get y'all picks in right now, man. Who y'all got winning this ball game? Before we get into all that matchup shit, let's go down and talk about what happened on the season. Let's look at these award winners and how things went down right now, man. James Pierce Jr. You got to play James Pierce Jr. He won Player of the Year. What showed up about James Pierce Jr. In your matchup, Max? Twice. You got to play him twice, regular season and in the playoffs.
Um, Kind of just the burst off the line, like free rush ability, literally and physically, but um, just definitely like somebody when you're passing, you kind of have to scheme for him to probably only get blocked for like a second.
Corey helped him win the Heisman and been Player of the Year, but he also hurt himself on going as far as he should have went with him. User and this guy, as much as Corey did, got him Player of the Year and the Heisman Trophy. But User and that guy also affected his run in the playoffs, in my opinion. What you guys say to that, Max? Me saying that, do I stand on that or nah?
I just think certain users it can work, and certain users it can't really work. So I think he should have just did it more scheme oriented versus just trying to secure the Heisman after the first couple of weeks it went so well.
That Tennessee team got their quarterback coming back. They're going to be in a situation right again next year, man. All right, so we go to that. We go to head coach of the year, and that goes to surprise, surprise, the guy that's always seems like he's on top of the world when it comes down to football, right? And our league. Coach Craig Williams at Penn State Nittany Lions wins head coach of the year. Quiet season for him, right? Not really all in the chat talking shit or not talking shit or anything. He just lined up and played football, man. But he brought greatness back to Penn State. When we did team selection and he settled in on Penn State, I thought I was one of those guys that told him, I think you're in a great situation with Penn State. Max, tell me why my comment of that rings bells and is right for what I said. Him taking Penn State might have been the best thing for him in this league.
Just making him having to play like a certain style of football, probably, versus a lot of other teams where he would feel like he might have to like throw the ball excessively. Um, and I think just the starter defense for him kind of is cool enough that, you're going to be able to get off the field a lot.
Well, one of his signatures offensively is the triangle offense. I thought Penn State gave him the best roster for that, right? To be able to come out and play the style of play that we got accustomed to. Him having one of the best offenses in Madden, I think it rings true that it correlated right to college football, right? And then those guys that are innovative people will add to what they are already great at, add to that. And I think the only thing that he would have needed to do was figure out the way the college game is played and add to that scheme. His running backs did a really good job for him out the backfield and as ball carriers. And that triangle, right? Those three players, that tight end, the wide receiver, and the slot, that quarterback or that running back out the backfield, really, really gave people fits again all year long. So he has an offense that travels with him no matter if he's in college football or the NFL. And I thought that fit perfect at Penn State. The other thing that I knew will really, really help him in Penn State was you got to go to 110 sitting in the crowd, and you go to Penn State, you go to Pittsburgh, or not Pittsburgh, I'm sorry, you go to Pennsylvania and got to play him in his stadium, and good luck with that. Good luck with that, and that's not going anywhere. Especially with him being the number one ranked team in the country right now. That crowd is going to kill people next year when you got to come to the building as well. I thought he did a good job of balancing playing at home and away all year long. I think it's something to say about a guy that can win close games just as well as winning the blowout games. Because you get to know a little bit more about your team in a dogfight, right? So we love the fact that not only did he get his team undefeated and the number one team in the country, his head coach wins Coach of the Year. Shout out to Craig Williams. All right, best quarterback, Jalen Milroe. Max, let's go ahead, man. I'm gonna let you take this over right now. Jalen Milroe. Why one does he have his Alabama team with a new coach sitting in the championship game in the big dance, and not only sitting in the big dance, why was he the best quarterback all year long?
I mean, generally, because I didn't watch none of Alabama's games, he's kind of just a broken quarterback as far as the game goes. Um, it's kind of a Cam Newton, but like the arm strength of Patrick Mahomes and the weapons of the fucking Dolphins per se. So it's like it's kind of just like a mix of a lot of Avengers type shit, and I think Brandon probably at some point definitely just figured out that offense is really simple when everything can kind of go so well.
Yeah, you
Kind of
gotta.
just makes it for mistake-free football, honestly. You're gonna really be able to just do anything as long as you sit there and get blocking as far as getting the ball into your guys' hands and having matchups. Like,
Yeah,
gotta,
when it comes down to Jalen Milroe, he can get you out of any situation with his legs, and he has one of the best deep balls in the country. So, I just think that everything came together, right? You don't put up damn near 70 points a game without having everything coming together for you, right? And what happens is you're looking at one of the best offensive lines on the game. Then you're looking at the best dual threat quarterback on the game. And like you said, the weapons around him is literally insane. And I think he took full advantage of that, right? But you got to know college football to be able to really do the things that he did all year long with it. It's a different game, right? It's a faster game, fast-paced game, and you can get yourself out of a lot of situations, as far as user control wise. And I think he did a hell of a job meshing the run game and that offensive line physicality with the fact that his quarterback is a super playmaker, and that's why you see him as best quarterback in the league of the first season. So, shout out to Jalen Milroe and Coach Brandon, Alabama. Our best defensive player of the year goes to James Pierce Jr. He wins that award. You go to best defensive back. You got Jaleel Hurley. Look, redshirt freshman, and he's a dog at corner, right? And he played really well for Brandon. But I don't think that it stops there, because if you kind of look down this list of best defensive backs, it's Alabama all over the place, right? He, again, when you got a bunch of 4 and 5 stars all over your roster, you got to find ways to make them effective. And Jaleel Hurley don't win this award without the play of Keon Sabb, Mbakwe. You got Damani Jackson, the USC transfer. You come down to Malachi Moore. Max, I always used to draft him in real draft. That's my guy. And Devontae Smith, not the Devontae playing for the Eagles, the other one that red shirt and sat on his roster and waited for his turn. So that Alabama, and you look at it, you're looking at a freshman, right? Junior, freshman, junior. They got potential to come back next year. Like, this Alabama team ain't going anywhere. Shout out to Brandon winning defensive back. Best running back goes to C.J. Baxter. I like this. I like the fact that he won this award, because he picked this team because of him, right? Jimbo picked Texas because of C.J. Baxter. Period. And the fact that he was able to dominate and do his thing with some guys that run the ball a whole lot,
Jesus
right?
loved on
You're
passes
looking
when
at
they say
Quinshawn
no
Judkins
huddle.
sitting at number 2. You're looking at Nicholas Singleton, Jeremiah Love. You got Jordan James and Marion Hampton. If you look at the running backs on this list, you're looking at guys that, outside of C.J. Baxter, most of these guys on this list were guys that you expected to be here, right? Completely expected to be here. And the fact that he did it with the sophomore is amazing because this is a guy, sometimes it just feel better when you pick a team and you pick them because of a player that you actually like and go get it done with them, right? Best running back for CJ Baxter. Shout out to Texas and Jimbo. Best receiver, Travis Hunter. Uh, bottom line, he's a cheat code, and it's Travis Hunter. I was a little disappointed defensively on how he played for us this year, but offensively, he was all world, all everything. Um, this is a guy that'll be a first round draft pick for sure. I can't see him sticking around playing for Colorado anymore. He's out of there. His boy Shador on his way to the draft as well. But when you look at the receivers on this list, though, Max, it's some really good names. Now, I will go down to number 6 because we're going to be talking about them too in the championship game. And you're looking at a receiver that probably shouldn't be on this list. This is where the triangle offense comes into fact. Liam Clifford is sitting at number 6 for Penn State, bro. Junior. If you go look at the roster and you look at him, you're not going to be looking at a guy like most of the guys that you're looking on this roster. And that's going to be guys that's flying with nothing but speed. And you can do whatever you want. That's not that. This is a guy that he turned into that guy for him. Which is very impressive sitting at 6. But then you look at the names, Zachariah Branch, Nicholas Harbert, Ryan Williams, the youngest player in college football, Evan Stewart, right, Tetrian McMillan, Squirrel White, Kendrick Law, Chris Mitchell from Notre Dame. All these names on this list are big-time guys. And the draft is going to be really, really loaded with some good receivers. So shout out to Travis Hunter, one of the best wide receiver. Lombardi Award goes to James Pierce. He's going to clean up the trophy case, period. He went crazy all year long. United Golden Arm, that goes to Shador Sanders, best senior quarterback. Again, Kyle McCord went crazy this year. KJ Jefferson had a great year, right? As far as our user coach, Grayson McCall is number 7 on this list. Jalen Daniels, Rob did a really good job with him, sitting at number 9 right now. So shout out to the senior quarterback that we know for a fact will either be entering the draft or playing their last year of college football. Best defense end, James Pierce. I mean, if it was walking up on the stage and collecting your hardware, how many times has he walked up on the stage today? This guy went crazy with him. All right, best interior lineman. You got to go to Alabama. Redshirt Junior, Jaden Roberts. This guy's a first round pick for sure. Parker Braceford, the center right behind that. So, again, Alabama sitting with the best interior offensive lineman at the best tight end position, Roberto Miranda. It was some good tight ends, too, bro, for him to win that. So, shout out to Antonio to get his tight end on this list, Redshirt Junior, winning the best tight end award. You slide on down and go to Boyers Award, best coach, OC, Adam White. You want to call him White. Penn State wins that. He also, defensive coordinator, came in second behind that. Then you're looking at Chris Johnson and Aaron Tolbert for Alabama. When you go down this list, you see both everybody's offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator that's on this list went offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator on this list. So shout out to the best OC and DC and head coach. So Penn State brings in the best head coach, best offensive coordinator, and best DC in 2025 season, 24-25 season. All right, looking at best linebacker, another Alabama player. Can you call? You remember this name, right, in real draft?
I feel like, yeah.
Yeah, this is a guy through all our real draft leagues from that usually we make being dog. But sometimes when you got a roster full of 4 and 5 star blue chips, they just gotta wait their time. And his time was this year. Can you call? Did a really good job at left outside linebacker winning that award. Barrett Carter is a monster. You got Colin Oliver for Oklahoma State, Jaden Sneed. I mean, his name's on here. Justin Flo. I would say this: Antonio brought Justin Flo back to life. Best center, Parker Braceford. This kid transferred with his head coach, right? It was at Washington on the best offensive line of 2023. And then he transfers with his coach. When his coach took the Alabama job, he came over from Washington and still won best center. So shout out to Alabama for that as well. Lou Grosser, how many kickers? We don't care about that. Punter, we don't care about that. But we do care about this. Did you think when the season started that Zachariah Branch would be the best special return player in the league? I did.
It doesn't surprise me, like, at all.
It's good to see using players the way they supposed to play. You know what I mean? Like the way they supposed to be looking. Like Zachariah Branch his welcome to the to college football in his true freshman year in 2023 was 2 returns. In his opening in week 0 of last year, remember USC played. I forgot the team they played. I want to say no, it was Sacramento or something like that. They played one of them California teams in a group of 5, and he walked a kickoff back and damn near walked the punt back. So to see him here and what Gator did with him all year is definitely amazing. And the fact of the matter is that Zachariah Branch will be in college football for another year at least. So shout out.
At least, I was gonna
Yes,
say.
sir. So shout out to USC and Gator. Let's take a look at the All Americans. All right. First team All Americans at quarterback, Jalen Milroe. Running back, CJ Baxter. Running back number 2, Jordan James. Travis Hunter, wide receiver 1. Zachariah Branch, wide receiver number 2. Nicholas Harbor at 3. Tight end Miranda, Arizona. Will Campbell, one of the best, if not the best offensive lineman in college football, especially left tackle for LSU. Clay Webb, Jacksonville State. USC, Jonah Mahoney. Tate Ratledge for Georgia. Tata, you got a first rounder and Jonah Savaiania. You got Jack Sawyer at left end for Nano. James Pearson Jr. left right end for Tennessee. Mason Graham, Walter Nolan, Ole Miss. Mikael Williams at left outside linebacker. Jay Higgins, Iowa. Barrett Carter, middle at right outside linebacker for Clemson and Hoodie. The number 1 corner on the game, Will Johnson, makes the first team All American. Benjamin Moores, they're the best 2 corners in the game for sure. Caleb Downs goes to free safety. Jonas Sanker for Virginia, and then you're looking at kicker Graham Nichols and Matt Fletcher. Second team, you got Nico Amaliva, Amarion Hampton. Shout out to Harold. Quinshawn Judkins, second team though, Quinshawn? Well, he split time though all year long, so I could see that. Ryan Williams, the true freshman, 17-year-old. Evan Stewart out there in Oregon, and Randall went crazy with him, got him going nuts. This kid was a cheat code as well. Oh my God, the things I seen him do when I played Arizona. Oh my God. At tight end, Caden Prescorn for Ole Miss. Kelvin Banks Jr., left tackle for Texas. Donovan Jackson, Ohio State. Parker Brailsford, center. Luke Kandra, Cincinnati, right guard. Emory Jones Jr., LSU. Reuben Bain Jr., second team All-Americans, true sophomore. He'll be back. It's a possibility that Abdul Carter can come back too for Penn State. Let's not act like he ain't only a junior, bro. Kenneth Grant, dog. These are all guys that might got a chance to come back. Your boy Tyleek Williams, you know a whole lot about him, Max. Hal Perkins Jr., left outside linebacker. Danny Stutzman, Oklahoma. Jason Henderson, Old Dominion. Takario Davis had a really good season for Arizona this year as a junior. Quincy Riley, Louisville. Malachi Starks, Georgia. And then you got Kevin Winston Jr. at strong safety for Penn State, who's a junior as well. That's your first and second team. Let's take a look at the All-American freshman. Nico Amaliva has a red shirt sitting there. How about Chris Johnson Jr., bro? That speed is real over there. David Izomio for Clemson. Hoodie did a good job using him. Ryan Williams, Z Haynes, man. P-H-I-Z, man. P-H-I. Fought went nuts with him. He a redshirt freshman. How about your Noah Rogers, man?
Yes, sir. State transfer.
I mean, you got Noah Rogers coming back next year. What type of role will he play with Concepcion?
I mean, he was already 1 and 2. I think it's more like 1 and 1 next year. I think his upbringing next year will allow Concepcion to be even more special. And he gets to showcase a little bit more of being special and the flexibility of having another guy, get looks.
All right, Jamari Johnson, LSU, for Louisville, tight end. Javin Williams, Penn State, freshman left tackle. Noah Dunham, Washington State. DJ Chester, center for LSU. Alex Birchmeyer, Penn State, right guard. That's 2 Penn State players that's coming back. That's solid. Bo Hewley for Georgia. Armando Blunt for Miami. True freshman Armando Blunt. Deshaun Womack, LSU's redshirt freshman. Vic Burley, Clemson's redshirt freshman at D tackle. That's crazy that he got 2 of them, right? You got Green as well. at D tackle, redshirt freshman. Keon Kennedy, Alabama, they fucking loaded. Sammy Brown, true freshman for Clemson. TJ Capers, Louisville. Ellis Robinson, the fourth for Georgia, true freshman. Bakari Swan, South Carolina, freshman redshirt. KJ Bolden, true freshman for Georgia. And Dakari Nelson, redshirt freshman for Penn State. That's your freshmen All-Americans nationally. So shout out to those guys, and we'll be looking forward to seeing what they do next year, coming back into the league as All-Americans. You take a look at the playoff bracket, right? So you go first round, you're taking a look at Liberty and Notre Dame, North Carolina State, Tennessee, USC, Texas, Syracuse, Ohio State. That's round one, right? All your quarterfinal teams, you had Arizona, Penn State, Clemson, and Alabama all winning their conference championships, so they got the first round bye. So you take a look at, we're not going to talk about games that wasn't played. Liberty, Notre Dame, 35-27. But the NC State, Tennessee game, bro, all these games was fucking really good football games, bro. Like, I tuned in here and there, and like, I didn't really watch the whole games of it. Like, I tuned into your game, you was winning, so talk about it. What happened in the 9-versus-8 matchup? You had to see Tennessee once again in Tennessee. And Neyland Stadium and shit. So what happened in this game, Max? Is at one point you had to lead in this ball game. So talk to me.
Defense really just started to show up in the third. We didn't score, and then the fourth we only put up three. Drive at the end. I don't know what really happened. We had a game-winning drive after getting a fourth down stop where Corey tried to seal the game, and McCall pass kind of got away from him, or I don't know, corner just kind of sped up and made a play. But other than that, it was just really it was a good game all the way around. Just until the third, we kind of got stalemated on offense, just not being able to switch plays and do things, and people not blocking for real. So it was just kind of a meltdown in the third quarter.
So would you say the crowd played a big factor in it? I mean, that's part of college football, man. You get to get a guy on your home turf is on.
Definitely played a factor, and then just really like not having an answer for the DN for real. Kind of just here and there answers. Really just couldn't get them consistently blocked to be able to kind of game plan and scheme around them.
All right, Tennessee moves on 31-24 to the quarterfinal round. And you take a look at USC versus Texas. Last time this matchup happened, they played in the championship game. You still had Reggie Bush running around, Matt Leinart at quarterback. You had Lindell White in the backfield, and then Texas had who at quarterback? Let's see where your history of college football is, Matt.
What was happening again?
Quarterback. Who was the
Talking
quarterback?
about Vince Young?
Yes, sir. Vince Young took them down with on a 4th and 5 and scored a touchdown. Game over, walk off. We're out of here. Y'all all thought we was going to lose this game. Y'all disrespected us, and let's go. Well, the rematch happened 6-1-11 in the first round of the playoffs, and you got Gator traveling to Texas to take on Jimbo and this Texas Longhorn football team. You slide into the mix and look at the box scores. They filled each other out in the first quarter, 0-0. USC went up 14-7. They both scored 21 points in the third quarter, and then it was a 14-13 score in the fourth quarter, leaving a 48-42 win with USC taking a lead in that ball game. Quinn Ewers threw for 573 yards. He threw 3 touchdowns, 4 picks, still sacked once, 63% on the day. You take a look at USC's quarterback, 144.7, and Miller Moss, 229, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 4 times, but he had 64 completion percentage, no picks. Rushing, Joyner had 15 carries for 81 yards, 5.4 and a touchdown. And they also had 3 carries for 8 yards from their other running back. In Texas, 6 carries, 19. He got away from the run game for sure. Look at the receiving game. Isaiah Bond went off 8 for 216, touchdown. He had a 100-yard game out of Golden. And Nye Black, the tight end, caught 7 catches for 122 yards. And then Ryan Niblett, 2 catches, 38 yards, 2 touchdowns, along with C.J. Baxter catching the ball 5 times out of the backfield for 36 yards. And a touchdown in that game as well. You go to the USC side, 5 for 96 and a touchdown for my boy Makai Lemon. You had Quentin Joyner out the backfield, 6 for 40. Zachariah Branch, 4 for 45. He was held under his day. Deuce Robinson as well, 2 for 23. Defensive game. Points were scored in this game, but came down to USC's defense. So let's take a look at their leading tackle. Kamari Ramsey had 8. tackle for losses, one for Bear Alexander, and he also had a sack in the game. And he took a look at the INTs. You had Carlos Nicholson with two, Kamari Ramsey had a pick, Humphries had a pick, and Smith had a pick to move on to the second round of the playoffs. Now you take a look at the Syracuse traveling to Ohio State, playing in the number one stadium as far as crowd noise. You do know Ohio State had a 20-point lead in this game, right?
No, I didn't see this game.
Yep, Ohio State was up by 20 in this game, and defensively they fell apart. Now they got one of the best defenses in the game, and they fell apart. You can't let PHIZ run by you. You playing cover 4 quarters and you don't realize it turns to man. This is just not understanding the assignment. Guys breaking down, doing things that you don't understand, right? Like you have to know why you're calling coverages and what those coverages do. And I think he thought he would have zones being played in when you playing quarters or palms or anything of those such situations. It's going to match, and guys are going to follow guys. And you got an offensive coordinator who understands that, and a defensive coordinator that did not understand that and lost that ball game because of that, 43-40. Syracuse. First of all, shout out to Syracuse, bro. 11-3 on the year, finishing ranked number 10 is really crazy considering new coach and Fran Brown, and that ACC schedule, and the fact that they, did the damn thing right, made it to the playoffs in year one under Fran Brown is very special. And King Falk did a really good job with this Syracuse football team. So we go to the quarterfinal rounds and we take a look at what happened in the quarterfinals. So now the matchups: Notre Dame, Arizona. Tennessee, Penn State, USC, Clemson, and Syracuse, Alabama. That's off the board. Syracuse didn't play the game. 40-21. Alabama moves on. Simple as that. So we go to the next game that was played, and we're looking at USC, Clemson in this ball game. 49-27. Hoodie's been dominant all year. His only loss coming in the semifinals, right? He did a really good job with Clemson. Max, you played with Clemson in another league, so you know the weapons and the tools that Hoodie actually has to his disposal to be able to do the things that he did all year long. It didn't change in the quarterfinals, winning this ball game 49-27. So shout out to Hoodie taking Clemson to the semifinals. Penn State dominated Tennessee though, 38-14. Now, there's no home field advantages here, right? They plan on neutral fields at this point. You're looking at the Rose Bowl. And because it's the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy one of them all, I'm definitely going into that game and see what the hell happened. You look at what's going on in the game, and Drew Aller, 228 yards, 2 touchdowns, INT. He got sacked once, but he was 11 for 19, 57% on the day. Nicholas Singleton murdered this game. He didn't score a touchdown running the ball, but he had 20 carries for 169 yards, 8.4 pop. He fumbled in this game, but he broke 5 tackles as well. Katron Allen, your boy, 3 for 7, only 2.3, but he scored in the red zone. Shout out to Katron. Then you look at the receiving game over here at Clifford, man. Lime Clifford went nuts. 3 for 65 and a touchdown. That's a really good day for him. Warren had 51 yards, 38 from Wilder. Singleton out the backfield for 36. And Fleming caught a 33-yard bomb for a touchdown. So shout out to those guys that scored points in this ball game. You look at what happened defensively. You stay there, and Abdul Carter. Not only did he have 5 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, he had 2 sacks in this ball game to close things out. And then defensively, Zaki Wheatley, Kobe King, his brother is already in the NFL, played for the Packers, and Kobe is on his way to the NFL, right? If he doesn't come back next year. And Nelson also had a pick in this game. I mean, Nico had a problem with this Penn State defense, and if I know who Craig is, you saw cover 4s. They do a good job with their matching defenses. You saw some 3 looks up there, and it gave Nico a lot of problems, right? They got a young linebacker, Antonio Rojas, that probably will be one of their star players next year. He also had a pick in this game. You're looking at Tracy, another sophomore with a pick in this ball game. My boy Cam Miller had a pick in this ball game as well. So you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You throw 6 picks, the score going to look like this: 38-14. Simple as that. I'm quite sure if Corey can have his game back, those interceptions don't happen. They play a better football game. And who knows, right? Got to line up and see what happens next year. Nico will be back. That's all that matters. All right, quarterfinals. You got Penn State moving on to the semifinals after beating Tennessee 38-14 very convincingly in a really, really good ball game. Notre Dame, Arizona, Coach Foe and Antonio go at it, right? And let's take a look and see what happened in this ball game. Box score: Cool. Let's take a look at the player stats and see what happened. Fafita, my boy, 299 yards. He threw 4 picks in this game. When you see the turnover battle, and the guy that wins the turnover battle usually wins the ball game. Riley Leonard, 165.1 QBR, 238, 2 touchdowns in the INT in this game. Wasn't sacked, and he was 74% on the day. Love out the backfield. 20 carries, 116, 5.82 touchdowns. There it goes. In the receiving game, just enough. 7 for 122 touchdowns. How you going to stop that when he averages 17 yards a play? Thomas also averaged 14.5 at 29, but the only guy that scored points today in the receiving game at the receiver position was Chris Mitchell. Go look at the defensive side of things. Sneed, 6 tackles, 1 tackle for loss in the INT in this game. Xavier Watts, one of the best safeties in the country, had 5 tackles in this game and an INT as well. You come on down and you start looking at some of these linebackers and see what they can do. True freshman had an INT in this game, 4 tackles as well. I don't know if he sacked anybody. Nope. And they caught 4 picks, right? You're looking at Watts, and Mickey. All had picks. So some of these guys will be back next year. Shout out to Notre Dame for winning that ball game, sending Arizona home in the All-State Sugar Bowl, 35-28. It's a really good game. I heard it was a pick thrown at the end. That's why they lost. Which leads us to the semifinals, right? Clemson, Alabama, and Notre Dame, Penn State. And what you saw in this game was a dogfight, right? Like, the game was under control, and then the fourth quarter happened, and Notre Dame scored some points in the fourth quarter, which made this game 22-37. But again, I'm going to ask you this question, Matt, as a coach. It just seems like Alabama is just running through his opponents. Simple as that, right? Whether the game is played or not played, he's doing what he got to do to win ball games. The scores are ridiculous. And when you beat a Clemson team ran by Coach Hoodie, who does what Coach Hoodie been doing all year long, and you hang 56-21, that just tells me this Alabama team is on a mission, and this coach has his team figured out. But let me ask you, that's impressive. And I think that, if he continues that in the championship game, it's going to be a long day for Penn State. But do you think Penn State got the edge a little bit in this game because they've been in those close games? They've been in where, like, if they could keep this game close, would you give the edge to Penn State?
Yeah. Seems like Alabama's really only winning in blowout fashion.
And I mean, look, you can't take nothing away from that. He's whooping the guy's ass up and down the field, and he's beating some big type teams by those type of scores. So, like, you can't take that away from what they are, right? I'm just saying, if this game is played in a boxing ring, if Craig can shorten this game up and make them play in the box, right? We could do that, and they can play a tight game. I think Penn State, because of the experience of playing some tight games this year, I want to see how Alabama looks getting punched in the mouth. That's what I want to see. But nobody's punched him in the mouth. He's been bobbing and weaving all year, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He's been bobbing and weaving all year.
Statement.
All right, so we are at this championship game, right? Alabama. So the Penn State going better come in and wear their home jerseys if they want. If I'm them, I'm whiting out this bitch. Fuck that. Make them wear their darts. That's what I would do. But that's me. Who cares? All right, Alabama. What's the keys for Alabama to win this ball game, Max?
You just can't make mistakes. You gotta let Milroe be the best, player in the game. Let the defense kind of sit in. Make Penn State uncomfortable and what they're good at. Not that Craig can't do what they're quote unquote like bad at, but just let the game kind of play out. You got better players in majority of the positions, so the real factor is just not fucking it up and letting them play ball.
I think Alabama's keys is to start fast and finish faster. Simple as that. Like, they make this a track meet, right? See if Penn State got the horses that can keep up with a 4x1 relay race. This is what I'm trying to say. I think the speed of Alabama and the South type of style of football they come with, because what they can do is they can bully ball you, right? They got, one of the best offense, if not the best offensive line in the country. They can literally make you have a nightmare trying to figure out how to stop the quarterback if he uses his legs with him at all, right? And then they got the weapons from the running back position to the wide receiver room to be able to light the scoreboard up from anywhere on the field. So again, I think they should start fast, finish faster. Play the football you've been playing all year. Like, this is another game on the mark. Faceless players, nameless team, right? Who cares who the user is? You come out and do what you've been doing well all year long, and things should end up on your side of things, right? Just come out and make them have to stop you and don't come out. Like some guys can see who they're playing and it changes how they're playing, right? I think Brandon, along with Antonio, those type of guys, they'll respect who they're playing, but they ain't gonna change how they play. And I think that's what will make Alabama successful in this game if they just come out and play the style of play they've been playing all season, right? The other thing is if things don't go the way you want it to go, dogfights, right? That Texas Alabama championship game, for a lot of that game was a really good football game, right? I seen the first half of that game. It was a really good football game, and it was this is not going to be a track meet for you at all. Like you're gonna have to do it, right? So again, we're preaching that Penn State has played close games and been able to win the dogfights. But we saw Alabama go toe-to-toe with Texas for 4 quarters before that game, on paper got out of control. I don't know if it was a restart or I don't know what happened. But when I was watching some of that game, it was a close ball game. And Texas dropped the interception while Alabama was in the red zone. That probably could have changed that game from what I was watching, right? So they do have some fight in them. The problem is Alabama got the horses. You're not going to beat them when it comes down to the track meet at all. They got speed everywhere, and you're not going to out physical them, right? So it really comes down to the game plan of Alabama. You come out and start doing things you wasn't doing all year long, you can get yourself in trouble, right? So with me saying that, it's almost like I'm saying, damn, Penn State got a flying chance in this game. And I think Penn State got a complete chance, not only in this game, but to actually dominate the football game. I want you to explain to me, Max, explain to our audience how Penn State can go out there and win a championship playing this Alabama team.
They literally can't make mistakes. Running the ball, kind of like killing the clock, slowing the game completely down, scoring on every possession that they have, and then at some point you got to count the possessions, and then they just need to find a way to get an extra possession or two, because it's not guaranteed, but possession or two where they can sit there and take a 3 or 7 or 10 point lead on Alabama, and then kind of just play that back and forth game until, because it's saying that you're just going to go out there and stop them that's kind of like, that's not necessarily what my approach would be, but like obviously that's the game plan. What you want to do is stop them, but you could go out there and just play smart football and make sure you get your stops timely. You should have a pretty good outcome.
No, I'm not. I'm upstairs. Look at you, Ray. Blow my shit. You can hear me, Max?
Hmm.
So what I think is this. Does Penn State have the horses to control the game, though, right? And they do.
They definitely got the trenches on offense and on defense to kind of
They
control it. They
actually
got the
don't
running
have the
backs.
trenches on offense. Defensively, yes. Offensively, no. It's going to come down to your
They're
playmakers,
younger.
right?
They're younger on offense, but I think they're sustainable to be able to get Singleton to just make plays. Like Singleton's gonna have to make plays. Kayshon's gonna have to make plays, but I don't think Penn State's offense line is gonna get mauled every play. Like it's gonna happen for sure, but not like every play. That's why I said the play calling exceptionally has to be extremely well, because kind of got to know that you might lose a rep here or there, but you still need 3 yards, 4 yards, even though your offensive line lost a rep.
All right, so when we started off this conversation, we talked about Penn State and triangle offense and the things they do offensively. I think the off-script plays is going to matter in this game, right? In phase, I think, there's not too many coaches out there that can call a game the way Coach Craig will call a game. But the off-script plays is going to be the ones that win you the game, right? Imano, I'm not comfortable with that. But what I am comfortable with, I know my scheme and how I'm going to read the field and how I'm going to see things will always put me in a situation where I can go down and get points. Right? But if I get this stop, how do I change the pace of the game, right? Like, is Penn State, are they going to be this team, right? 12-play drive, 8-play drive, 11-play drive. Like when the box score and all that is at the end of this game, and you look at the drives they have, I do think they're going to need one of those 3-play drives, a big time play happen, a big play, take a shot, right? Show Alabama that you can strike just as fast, right? Because if you could do that and control the game and put drives together offensively, and also hit a big play, whether it's on special teams, return in a return game or something like that, or it's a 1-play tutty in a pass, or a running back takes something 60, 70 yards to the crib. Show that you can put them in conflict, right? Because when you in a game where you putting drives together, you kind of abusing the defense, right? You could go down and get points. I don't care if it's a touchdown or a field goal, but if you could put long drives together and you can break a defense that way, right? My problem is the same thing we've been talking about when it comes down to Alabama. For them to score 70 points a game, bro, they're scoring on defense, offense, special teams, they're scoring, right? So Penn State could put 13-play drives together, but if Alabama's answering in 2 or 3 plays, what does those 13-play drives matter, right? So I want to see if Penn State better go out of phase, right? And draw up some shit that isn't the methodical football game, right? Draw up some shit that ain't the normal drag here, hit the running back out the backfield, crosser here. I want to see a 1-play, a beat your coverage. My guy got behind everybody on a post, or you walked up and tried to jam me because you like your speed on the edge, and my guy beat the press, and I launched that bitch, and he run under it. I need to see something like that, because that's what you're going to see on the Alabama side. You're going to see them being able to take a shot from anywhere on the field, and then be comfortable if that doesn't work out, knowing that their defense can score points as well, right? You're dealing with one of the best scoring defenses in the game. All right. Hold on for a second. Max, you feeling me on this though? Where I'm at with this conversation, man?
No, I definitely get what you're saying.
Like, we seen, like, without watching the game, the score tells you everything. We know Alabama is getting points from everywhere. So, like, when I start thinking about players, right, I don't think you can stop. You just looked at all the people that won awards. Not only did they win, if they won awards, it's not just the guy that was at number 1 on those awards. If you start looking down from 2 to 12, you've seen a lot of Alabama players at a lot of different awards, right or wrong.
Yeah.
And that's what scares me with the Penn State situation, right? Abdul Carter got to play out of his mind. We know that defensively, right? He got to be the guy that's going to keep, like, that's where I want to see the game played at. Does Abdul Carter have enough zazz in him to be able to keep Jalen Milroe throwing the football and not being able to run around and make plays with his legs and throwing the football? Can you see Abdul Carter being that guy that, like, if you had to spy him, he's the guy to do it?
I definitely think so. It's just, I don't know if I don't know. Play the spy game. Now he has time.
You ain't playing this game without Spy Milroe. I know that, you know that. You ain't playing this game without it. My question is this. Go ahead if you want. I mean, if you think you can talk to me.
I'm not spying my best player every play, because that's also my best pass rusher.
That's where I was going to go at. I just want to know how much football you know. That's all.
Yeah, I'm not spying him every play. That's also my best pass rusher. So as cool as it is for him to spy, it's just like you kind of taking him out the game in a sense.
We saw a freshman linebacker that made first team All-American freshman team at middle linebacker for Penn State. Is that the guy? Because, like you said, you take Abdul away from coming off the edge. Again, that's a game changer for you. I just know this: Abdul going to make some plays in this ball game. Like, you not getting out of this game without your best player on the field making plays for you. They contain Milroe and make him be a complete pocket passer. I think Penn State can win this game and do it by multiple scores, right? I seen somebody say Penn State plus 14. I'm not willing to go that far. I think the coach that coaches Penn State knows how to make a way. He knows how to figure some things out and make a way. But I think Alabama has shown us, and sometimes you got to just trust your eyes, right? You ain't got to see the game. You just got to see the scores. Trust your eyes. And my eyes tell me that as everybody joining leagues think Ohio State has the best offensive defense in the league, you quickly find out it ain't. It's Alabama. And I think Brandon took full advantage of having Alabama, and he's so comfortable with that football team. You ain't just, again, but then you playing a guy that really ain't gonna turn the ball over to you. Like this is gonna be a crazy game because I think both teams are gonna have to get out of character to be successful, right? I don't think Craig is going to turn the ball over. It's gonna have to be something to happen for that turnover to happen. Like he ain't gonna go out there and just make the mistake himself, right? And if Alabama ain't winning in the turnover battle and ain't forcing points on the board because of turnovers and things like that, that's taking some of that explosiveness away from Alabama. Move, God damn it! You always coming to sit on shit. Get out of here. So Max, it still comes down to out of phase, right? If I think if Penn State can play really well out of phase, I think they can win this ball game. But Alabama, you gonna have to. I think Penn State gonna have to bring the fight to them, and not Alabama have to bring the fight to them. Even though I said Alabama need to start fast and finish faster, I think for Penn State to win this ball game, they gotta bring the fight right to them. Like they gotta meet them where they at some point in the ball game, right? It's gonna be a couple of decisions in one of these quarters of the game that's gonna be the game changer in this ball game. I don't see Alabama blowing Penn State out. Do you?
What do you consider blowout? Like plus 21?
40-21. 56-21. The scores we seeing on the screen right now. I don't see
Nah, I
them
think it'll
doing that to
be
Alabama. Alabama
either
doing
way.
it
I
to Penn
think it'll
State.
be it's gonna be less than 14.
Is this a high scoring game? Like is this like a 56-48 game?
Uh, no, I'm going like 38, 38, 31. I think it's gonna start off slow. First half will probably have like 17-10 or 17-7. And then I think the second half, both teams will be a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more fluid.
All right, so give me your pick. Who you got winning this ball game?
I got Alabama.
You got Alabama winning it?
Yeah.
All right. So, as much as I want to pick Craig, and matter of fact, fuck that. Since you picked Alabama, I'm picking Penn State to win this ball game. I think Penn State win by 10. I think Penn State win by 10. Can you beat that match coverage? Can you beat that cover 3? Are you going to better figure it out? Can Milrow beat you from the pocket? Right? I think Craig will do everything in his power to stop him from being able to bail out and do some things. You ain't going to stop the rollout and passing the ball. You can stop the rollout and running with his feet somehow, some way. But scheme wise, what's going to happen, right? Again, I just think Alabama is so explosive, not just offensively, they score points everywhere. And I think Penn State ain't the team you want to play thinking you're going to get 14 to 21 points on defense. You don't see it happening. They not giving you the ball, the points like that. They not giving you the ball on turnovers for you to be able to now. If some fumbles start happening, they scooping scores, then so be it. But I think the way that offensive coordinator is over there at Penn State, he is not about to be out there throwing 6, 7 picks and shit like that. Now again, is that offensive coordinator creative enough to give us some out of phase plays? Like they gotta be able to score or pit some big plays together, right? Like fuck a long drive, like a drive that could break your back. I love that, right? That's football. But can you hit a big play, maybe once a quarter? If you can hit 4 big plays in this ball game, Penn State can really, really be successful in this ball game because we know Alabama will hit a big play. Would you agree with me there? Alabama hitting a big play sooner or later.
Definitely.
I think the game falls on Drew Aller more than I think it falls on any of their skilled players. And in this ball game, I think, honestly, I think how the young freshman Ryan Williams played in the receiving game is going to determine Alabama's fate. If he has a day, it's going to be a day. Simple as that. Alabama, Penn State, that matchup coming soon, fellas. Tune in, man. Show some love. Our first championship game at homecoming, man. Show some love and make sure we tune in. We got to get at least 20 motherfuckers watching this game. Tune in. We'll post it in the chat while they playing. We're gonna talk our shit. We're gonna be, give y'all our halftime conversation, all types of stuff. This is the championship game, homecoming league, man. It hits the franchise boo boo. You already know, man. If y'all picking who y'all got to win, please post it in the chat right now. Again, I got Penn State by 10. Max is going with Alabama. You dare pick the score?
Probably got Alabama by like 7. I'm feeling real cool about 38-31.
All right, there you have it, man. Max got them by 7. Alabama. I got Penn State by 10. We'll see y'all when this game kick off, man. And it's the franchise. We'll holla at you. Bama by 10. You got to go with your guy. I see that happening too, man. I just don't. What I don't want to happen, I know this much, top tier, you better not let that man put up them scores you been putting up on everybody. Fuck else. That's all I know. And hits him out of here. We're gone.